Hear ye, hear ye. All right, welcome back to another installment. I'll keep my radio voice at bay tonight, but thanks everybody for coming. Let's go ahead and start the meeting by honoring our nation's flag with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Looks like we're all here, so we can move on to changes of the agenda. Does anyone have any changes or amendments to the agenda this evening? Hearing none, I will proceed to move on to public comment. Do you have anything for us this evening?
I do.
All right. Welcome back. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, great to be here. I was kind of reviewing for three different reasons the bylaws of the Art Commission, and one of the things that came up was an annual meeting, a report to the council about what you guys have accomplished. I think the first week or two in January was the first of your meetings, so you're just about halfway through. I would encourage you to figure out a system to be able to come up with a way to present that, whether you want to do it in November or January or whatever it is, but the council would just love to hear it. I know they would. The kinds of things that have happened, because from electing people to putting together a plan for the summer for different things like the inventory and working on repairs. We talked a bunch about getting the chalk art thing done. So a lot of things have happened, even in the first half of the year. So think about how that might go to the council sometime. You need to put some sort of process in mind, or just get it done at the last moment. I'm a last minute person anyway, so things like that happens. It works me good for those things. So just a reminder to do that.
Excuse me, Carl.
Really.
Was that annual or?
Yes, it says
okay.
in your bylaws, it says you need to do it annual.
Okay. All right.
That might include the budget too. I'm not sure where you are with your budget completely, but
I don't think we do.
We don't have.
you have a person over here who probably knows all about the budget. So just something to think about and put on that coming up time.
Good.
For the next 6 months or so.
Thank you for the
Thanks
reminder.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Carl. See anyone else out there have anything to say? No. Okay. Presentation from the Chalk Art Contest Committee, please. Yes. Becky, or whoever would like to take that over.
Okay, the committee of Sandra, Pam, and I, along with Carl, have been meeting on a regular basis to iron out the details. We have a little better idea of what to expect in the way of a budget, but not a final not to exceed number or anything like that. Just in running the numbers, if we had 20 children and 20 adults faces, if we had that many.
Including high school, adult and
including high school. Our budget currently would run close to $1,000 for that many entrants, because we have a welcome packet full of goodies and chalk and different things. So we are working on that. We have a meeting on Friday, and we'll have a lot more to talk about now that the contest is online and opened up. We had 7 entries this week, and they were from 3rd grade. I did a 3rd grade class with Oregon Trail Academy, Becca Reel. Good teacher, great class, and a lot of the kids did some really thoughtful work in their classroom on the rain drain project. So, did you have anything to add?
I'd be curious to hear a little more about the package that each group or whatever is offered.
How doesn't Pam address that?
Okay, so we are offering to the 2 younger groups, which would go up to 9th grade, 1 box of 48
Crayola.
Crayola sidewalk chalk, and a bucket to put all their stuff in, and a rag, and a water bottle, and a little water bucket for cleaning, and a blender, a chalk blender, which consists of chopped up pool noodle.
Oh, like for smudging or something?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I called a lot of places and talked to a lot of people who have done this for years. And so I didn't have to reinvent the wheel on some things. And chopped up pool noodle is the thing.
Perfect.
I like the sound of chocolate.
Yeah. Yep.
Dollar store.
For the older group, which would be high school and adult, they get the same thing, but they also get, we haven't determined the exact number, but 5 is kind of what we base the budget on. Larger, better pastel chalk sticks, because the Crayola, they're great for $4.50 for 48 of them, but you can't get the really bold color or outlines or good outlines or anything. So we are going to wait and determine, based on their artwork presented, what extra colors we're going to give them in the better chalk. Did I leave anything out?
No, but I should say that one of the big things that has happened is, remember Thea was doing the 24 hours in Sandy? And Rod took 4 o'clock, and a neighbor family came and did chalk art in front of the fountain. And so for his 24 hours in Sandy, we got a nice publicity photo out of that. And I went in advance and drew our logo on the plaza, and I've been checking it periodically, and that was the 28th of April. And we had some rain yesterday, which made it, I thought was going to disappear. But it did not disappear until a torrential downpour this afternoon, and it took part of the fish off. All the kids' work is gone because it was not sprayed with hairspray, but what we sprayed with hairspray is still visible.
And we're giving them a can of hairspray.
And we're giving them a
their
can of hairspray. So that was great publicity. Thea did a nice job, and then the whole picture will go. We're hoping will be chosen for the 24 Hours in Sandy book and slideshow.
$1,000 seems steep, so I'm just wondering
Yeah.
where all this is. $150 for the prize.
Well, that's the grand prize, and then we were thinking for the 4 age groups, maybe first prize could be $25.
Oh, you're giving out additional prizes.
Well, smaller prize.
Right.
And we don't know if we're gonna get some goodies that we could use as prizes for their down.
If you don't mind, I've been having a chance to walk through several of the businesses in the city, and they've all been excited about wanting to be involved. Not so much about money, but things like the car place would love to give us rags, and Fred Meyers would love to give us like either water or, of course, that's kind of free.
Well, yeah, we'd like to do
talk
that.
about, but anyway, the power bar snack or something else might be done that way. I guess what I was looking for was a list of things that could go in that stack. So you probably could get by with a lot cheaper than just paying for it all.
Yeah.
You have a finance guy right here, so he could probably tell you how much you have to pay.
And is the water company helping to offset some of this money?
The water company?
Or who's
Oh,
the
water
Public
machine.
Works?
Yes, Public Works have said that they would power wash all the areas before the art contest started, and if there needed to be something afterwards too, but we will put that in there.
Is it finance? You're not willing
They
to,
would not charge you.
but they're not gonna contribute.
They're
Public
contrib-
Works.
Monetarily is
Oh,
what she's
I
saying.
think
Monetarily,
she might
yeah.
be referring to
Oh, the
the,
other businesses?
no, the watershed people
Yeah, yeah.
that you had
Oh,
referred
yeah.
to before.
Yeah, that had started the whole.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Probably not gonna be money, but I suspect that they'll do a lot of
Something.
volunteer. They'll probably do
Oh,
prizes if there need to be. I'm gonna meet with the Sandy side on Monday, and I'll be meeting with the Clackamas side on Thursday this week, so I'll be
Okay, oh, great, great.
They meet monthly, so it's
Mhm.
about to get to them.
Perfect.
So if we were to do, most of the things come from the dollar store, the buckets and so on. And so the kids, for 20 kids is $185. The adults, 20 of them would be about $300. And then $150 for the prize, the grand prize, maybe $100 in lower prizes. Printing and some participation certificates that we will get, like a card stock, and print our own. And the one thing that is something that we had talked about a little in our meetings, we're going to look at the banners, a little bigger than the ones that I had talked to you about, that are generic, that might look like watercolor splashes in the background on a white surface, and then black lettering, something generic like art event here today, or art event today, or something that if there was a gallery or a street fair or anything art related, we could put at the two ends of town,
Okay.
big enough
Sure.
so that they're reusable, good quality, and that's only, we're figuring somewhere around 150, but we don't have that.
I've got prices
But, okay.
on the
so-
banners, yeah.
Okay, so we'll be nailing that down at our meeting on Friday a little bit
Okay.
closer.
And where were you gonna put the banners at each end? Was it gonna be
So,
over the?
so on the one end, coming from down the mountain, there's a Welcome to Sandy, and it has a
Right.
rock base.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's a very narrow corner, so about a 6-foot one on
Okay.
posts
Okay.
with pockets, and the other end we can do about 8 feet, and
Oh,
both
okay.
of them would be about a 3-foot height.
Mm-hmm.
And they
And
only
with
run
big enough
50 to
lettering
60
that the
bucks each.
people who are speeding even could read it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. Sounds good.
We've got forms that we've been working on for stuff to bring and tips to artists and
Yeah.
application forms and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
So these chalks and buckets and stuff, they get to keep those?
Mhm.
And is there an entry fee into this?
Mm-mm.
We will need volunteers for shifts throughout the drawing time, which will be on Saturday from 8 to 5, right?
Well,
Right.
the table, people
We
can
need
work
somebody
into
at
the
table.
evening.
And Sunday will be a shorter, it'll be 8 to 3, and at 3 we have the judging. So we need volunteers for various things, manning that table, which will be a chalk exchange table. We're gonna have extra chalk to sell, that's part of the budget. So people run out of red, they can go buy another red. And we will need judges. So as many of us as want to judge on Sunday afternoon at 3.
And we thought we might invite the council members and
Right.
other city people, find out who wants to be
Are you gonna-
in on the judging.
Are you gonna walk everybody around? Are you gonna take pictures of them, Polaroids, or what?
We're gonna walk them.
Walk
And
around?
we thought because only 3 of us can be in one place at one time, we thought we counselors could split up with the other people judging,
Mhm.
and maybe do in groups of 4 or 5 at the most, because the spaces are small, and just give everybody a chance to look it over. And one of the forms that we'll have when people pick up their bucket is a photo release form, so that we can use images of their work, and we may be able to use those sometime in informational things or in advertising.
Sure.
So we are started right now. I would say the most helpful thing is people talking it up,
Mhm.
get
Great.
entrance.
Great.
Now, is this going to be an annual event?
We hope. I'm excited just to educate people, particularly the kids, because they will remember for the rest of their lives that they learned that you're not supposed to put junk in the drain. You know, I think it's a lifelong learning experience, so it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Do you want some budget information now? Or do
Yes,
you want to
sure.
continue on in the meeting?
No,
and we can
if you
circle
have
back?
just a quick number, that would be great.
Do you want a quick number without a lot of conversation.
Not that quick.
Yeah, we'll take a little conversation.
Yes.
$9,000 or so is what's remaining.
In our budget,
in your
budget.
And, you know, I think staff anticipated you guys would spend about another 1,000 through the end of June, and there's 8,000 set aside for next biennium. So
Mhm.
basically, the unused portion from this
Mhm.
biennium is just rolling
Mhm.
forward into the next
Mhm.
2-year period. So, you know, $1,000 is a good portion of that. But it's a pretty, you know, good event, and it brings awareness, just like you were speaking to, about, you know, what's supposed to go down the drains, so.
Mhm.
Speaking of other events, the chamber has always had a contest, a window painting contest in Sandy around Christmas. And I'm wondering, it sounds like the chamber is not going to be actively involved in this anymore. Is that something the art commission could do?
Well, that's something to think about. I think the high school kids were painting windows last year.
Yeah, but the last I heard was that the chamber may be just banding or something.
They're
Well,
going
just more
virtual
mobile.
is what it is.
More
They're going
mobile.
online and
No
So
bill.
they are gonna
they'll still
continue with
being,
it?
Chris can go around to all the
Yeah,
businesses
it's
and do
still
stuff.
gonna happen.
But it's still,
Okay.
So when we get to the mural update, then we'll have another budget thing to talk about. Can you tell me, excuse me one second, on the budget. So there was there's 9,000, that's because there's 1,000 out?
Yeah, so
I don't
there's about
understand.
9,000 remaining currently, and when we built the upcoming budget, we anticipated that the commission would spend about another 1,000 before the end of this fiscal year. So we have 9,000 in total right now. There's only 8,000 budgeted for next year, with the, you know, thought process that you would be spending money through June.
So June to June is the,
July 1st through June 30th
July,
is our fiscal
okay.
year. Yep, and we operate on a 2-year budget, so that $8,000 is what's allocated for July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2021.
So it
Oh.
went down because,
It isn't $10,000 because,
There was the expense of the liaison who used to sit in
Mhm.
this chair.
Mhm.
Not salary expense, the contractual service expense
Mhm.
of him came out of the Arts Commission budget.
Okay.
and.
So it was originally about 13,000 is what that budget started off at.
Oh.
geez.
Oh,
Wow.
so now we're down to 8 next year. So,
So-
is this one of those, I used to work in government, if you didn't spend it.
It's not so much a spend it or lose it as much as we're
Okay.
just trying to roll it over into the next biennium. There has
Okay.
not been additional funds allocated at this point in time. I think is probably the easiest way to explain that.
Okay,
So will liaison funds continue to come out of that?
Well, now you have a city staff member that is the liaison, so there's
That's him.
no, my salary just
He's
gets paid out of the
free.
finance department,
Are
so
you
I'm
already
free
getting
in
paid?
theory.
He's already getting paid.
Are you temporary or permanent?
I don't really know exactly at this moment in time.
Okay.
So be
There was
nice
not
to him
another staff
tonight.
member
Yeah.
available at, currently to take on this role, so I volunteered to help, you know, facilitate during this transition. My gut says that we would not contract with another individual, it would be a city staff member.
Good.
Yeah.
That's a big
so-
chunk of our budget.
Yes,
Yeah, it
it
is.
is. So moving forward, I think that the expense for a staff member to be here would be very minimal, if anything at all.
Okay, great.
Good.
All right, well, thank you very much. Let's move to old business. Sounds like we've got a fantastic update on the Sidewalk art project. Does anyone have any further discussion about that particular project right now? Okay.
I just like to thank everybody for working on it, you've done a really
Yeah.
good job, you're working really hard, so thank you.
Yeah.
I guess let's talk about the mural restoration.
All right,
Who
so.
would like to talk about
Who
that?
could that be? Little quiet me. Okay, so I had to really work at finding anyone local who does that mural restoration because I am getting a bid from a professional company. And I'm going to get a competing bid from just a painting company for the application of the special coating. So my current best number for cleaning it and putting the mural coating on, and I am still waiting to find out if that includes a graffiti coat, is about $450.
Which mural are you talking about?
The one here on the building
Just the one
outside.
mural
The one
outside?
on the outside of the building. And I had asked for a bid that was broken down into cleaning and coatings, but I got a comprehensive bid, so I've asked that that be redone because I was thinking that we may clean it and go ahead and touch up the paint and then have a coatings company just do the coatings. Sprayed on is better than rolled on, and the product that needs to be used is something like $85 a gallon plus a $30 hazmat fee to ship and blah 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 blah. So I'm still in just getting the numbers on that, and
that's just for the mural on City Hall.
that's just for the City Hall mural.
Mhm.
But it's going to take, I don't know how much they portioned for the cleaning of it, and I don't know how much the mural portion is, but I did verify that they would come and clean it, let it dry, and then do the other on a separate trip. So I just want to know what the best way for us to go is, because we can do some of it, some of the cleaning, and we can do the paint touch-up, but if we could get a competent sprayer
Mhm.
on the job, I think it would be better than us rolling it, because you can see where the previous
Yes.
coating was rolled, it left a little bit of bubbles, which we need to, work on, so.
Does this come out of our budget?
They are doing a project here on the whole outside of the
Huh, that's all.
restoration for the building, and so I was thinking that maybe we would, if it's a small enough amount, that we could get it under art in that umbrella.
Yes, please.
Actually, I talked to the economic development director, and there may be some urban renewal dollars that could be used to put that on. This is certainly within that framework.
Yeah.
And you're right on. The work done around how a building here is probably has some of that. Plus, I think they're talking about doing something with the inside one too.
The inside one is in really pristine condition. It's not faded or anything, but the outside, the other thing that needs to be done, I think I noted this when I first looked at it, is the bottom trim needs to be replaced, and it's possible after some sanding down, it's not as bad as it looks, but need to analyze that. And the window trim on the building is totally rotted out, so I didn't know if somebody could just put a board on the bottom.
But I think the grease has been applied to the skids. So if somebody wants to talk to the economic director, David
Snyder.
Snyder.
There it is, yeah. I think you'll probably get some pretty good possibilities there. Plus, I think there's some other outside murals that might need
Well,
some work too.
we're kind of
Mhm.
using
Same
this
category.
one as a test case. And so I've already gotten word from David that that's how they kind of want to go, is to see how much it would cost to have a professional company do it.
Mhm.
Then maybe we could do a little bit of it, and maybe it could get all under this umbrella. And it'll also give us an idea then of, because Roger's mural is going to require way more work.
Oh, yes.
Way more work.
one
And the
on
longer
City
it sets
Center.
and the more sun it gets, the more deteriorated and the more work it's going to take. So I'd like to get that done this summer. It's that bad. And then the one at the senior center
Mhm.
is very chalky, how paint oxidizes and you go
Mhm.
like this and it gets chalk on your hands. And so Zach talked to Sarah Richardson of the center, and I'm just going to take, when we're done with the chalk art contest, maybe I can find a volunteer to just wash it by hand with like a car wash brush that's soft, just to get that oxidized paint off. We'll take a look at the color, and if you spit on it or get it wet, it looks much better than when it's dry. If it looks good wet, then all it needs is a coating. If it doesn't look good wet, then it may need some work. I think that's the murals that we are talking about. in their entirety, so,
And have we found the history of that yet?
no.
Oh. Okay.
But that brings us to the art inventory.
Unless someone else has anything to add about mural restoration in town, if they've seen anything else they like to see worked on, or, nope, nope, going once.
Did we include the one by the Centennial Plaza?
That one doesn't look like it needs it yet.
It's
It has
fairly
a
new. It's
tiny
newer
little
than that.
graffiti mark, and Lee Lawrenson was supposed to, a month ago, be sending in the mail a proposal, but never received
Oh.
it. So I don't know if anyone in the city ever received one, but he said he was going to send it to me also, but I haven't seen it.
Okay.
So does that one need coating also?
It doesn't at this point. It's in good shape.
I'm
It's got a
wondering
little graffiti scratches in one end of it, but other than that, it's pretty intact.
I'm wondering if it would be less expensive to get them coated at the same time.
Well, I don't know. I know that if we have a painter do the one here on this building, it will probably be a similar rate to spray the coatings on the other ones, so we can know what it's gonna cost. And I think with all the things we have going this summer,
I'm wondering if
we're kinda,
the transit might be able to cover the cost of just spraying that, since that's now the transit center as far as buses trading passengers to go up the mountain and down into Sandy. If that would be an approachable item.
you'll have to talk to them. You're on their committee.
Yeah, I will. Because I'd rather have it preserved while it was in good condition than have to restore it.
Yeah, and I think it was done in 12. Was it done?
Seems like it'd just
About-
be cheaper.
It was when the year Linda Malone left as mayor, I think. I think it was 12.
9 years ago.
And so usually 10 years or so is about when you start looking at that. And I don't know what it was coated with because Lee hasn't sent the information yet. And what something is coated with can make a lot of difference.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Something I'd really like to bring up about the mural restoration is I don't necessarily think it should come out of the Arts Commission budget. I think if it's city property, I think that the city should probably pay for the restoration and maintenance of that. I mean, it is my opinion that this commission was kind of created to bring new art into Sandy. And the old art is very important, but we don't have the money to restore the budget, restore every single piece of every mural in this town. And I don't really think that that's part of our agenda.
Well, also as a part of, if we push Lee's off to next year, if you follow the granting cycles, you can apply for grants for restoration, mural restoration. So that would give us more time to actually apply for grants. I don't think we have that luxury with Rogers, so somebody's gonna have to find what budget that's gonna come out of, finance guy, because that really needs to get done this summer.
It needs to get done, but I think it should be done professionally. I don't think that we should have necessarily a hand in that. I think that it should be all done out of house, so that it's more transparent.
You mean not volunteer to do it?
Right.
Well, and when you say professionally,
Or, I mean, I'm aware of what you
I
do,
think somebody
but
else
what I
would.
want to say is, are you an art restorator?
I've painted murals.
I'm aware of that, but are
Okay.
you an art restorator?
Okay,
That is where my.
but that's not really, it's like, we're not, okay, on Roger's mural, there is gonna be more painting necessary, because when he originally did it, he did the background, the sky and the background with an acrylic house paint. And that's why that has failed faster than the detail work in the foreground, because he's used a higher quality artist quality acrylic paint on that. And if it was a matter of restoring the faces and the details of it, then I think we'd be looking at a bigger, more expensive thing. But the background is really something that you can, once you do a good job of matching the paint, it would not be that technically difficult to do.
I kind of wonder if we couldn't have some kind of a fundraiser to raise funds to preserve and restore that, because he's quite a
I feel like
famous
it's a
painter.
separate,
and
yeah, I
hate to
agree,
have it
and I feel like it's a
destroyed.
separate
It shouldn't
issue
be
from
with
the
us.
Arts Commission.
Yeah,
We'll be
We're
out of money by
not,
the end of the
you
day.
know, we're not the Public Works, we're not those people, you know, and we're here to help facilitate that for sure, but, you know, I just want to put it out there that, you know, just to be gung-ho and be like, we're going to restore this mural. There's also a chance of doing it injustice and
Oh,
doing it wrong,
well-
or, you know, something going awry, you know.
Then my suggestion would be that you find somebody who wants to spearhead a campaign to raise the funds to do that.
well, isn't the Historical Society still in touch with his family?
Okay,
They
I've been
might-
through all that.
We went through all that.
We've been through all that.
Oh.
Nobody has the records of
Okay.
what he actually used
No, I
on the
don't mean
mural.
that. I mean, maybe they would be willing to step in and assist us in trying to raise some funds for restoring
Well,
and
let's wait
preserving
and
it.
see if the city, if we're not going to be a part of it, or we can help in some other way.
I mean, I think it's
See where the
equally as
line is
important to
first. Let's hear what,
bring
if the city will.
new art into the city as it is to restore and maintain what we have, and we don't have a large budget. You know, it's just something to really consider. I respect the idea of maintaining these murals. I understand that, but
Okay,
I
well,
think it
I
also
will,
needs to
I
be
will
said,
reiterate,
you know.
it better get done this year, or you'll be not saving it. If you go over and take a look at it, you'll see how bad it is. It literally doesn't have paint in places.
I've seen it. I
So-
totally understand that. But,
And
you
it's
know,
summer now.
I mean, I'm also trying to convey that we are not art restorators, and that is not what, you know, we're here to do. You know, we are here to bring an awareness to that, but I don't think that that should come out of the budget. You know, I think that we need to have an outside company that does that, and we should find out how much that costs.
The bid you got for 450, that was,
That's just for the mural coat, for the size that this one is.
Oh, that's-
Rogers
on this
is a
building.
different
Okay.
dimension, and this one's smaller.
okay.
And that's for cleaning it, which they put pressure washing, which I would never do
Right.
on that.
Yeah.
And they, and I know because I know the product that they're using is, I know it's $85 a gallon, and you can get up to 4 gallons with a $30 hazmat fee. So I know what it would cost if we bought it and didn't buy it from
Right.
someone like that. So I want to compare that bid. Also, they didn't put their CCB number on their bid, which is not very professional, which bothers me a little bit. But I would like to be able to compare having that company who does the graffiti coat and that kind of thing normally, compare the cost of doing that to a normal professional sprayer, because they do that for a living, and they should be able to spray a clear coat as well as they could spray something else, because that's all it amounts to literally, is a spray coating. So anybody who can spray a car or a building can use their sprayer to spray this particular kind of coating. So getting competing bids. But I will say, my personal opinion is that the Art Commission, it is totally in our wheelhouse to restore what's here and promote what's here, like doing walking tours of what's here and then adding art to it to create a more
I I think it's important to make
Viable.
it, to bring an awareness to the condition of that mural, to the people of Sandy, and see what we can do to bring the city together.
Well, we might
to
be
make
able
that
to do
happen.
a,
Instead of just personally saying, I'm going to restore that, piece of art. And I appreciate that gumption and your skill, but at the same time, we really need to.
well, we could put it in the paper to see if some random person would be interested in doing it, or if the bank or someone else who has a stake in the arts of the community would like to fund or give us a grant to have it done by someone else.
I think that we should really consider that avenue instead of just going gung-ho with this. The bids, I just don't think that, we should be restoring them by our own hands.
My
I just don't think
understanding
that
in
that's what we
our
need to do.
Yes, it would be mostly bank.
bylaws and so forth was that we personally were not going to be the ones who were hands-on, that we were going to be overseeing and promoting.
Right.
And so I think it leaves us open for an awful big liability if something does go wrong.
I agree, and I just want to bring those things to the table. It's something to consider. Whether, however skilled of artists we are, I mean, someone else needs to have that liability and not the Arts Commission.
Right.
It's important
I agree.
for us to keep.
Why don't we
keep
put it
separate
to
from
the
it.
council and see what direction they want it to go?
That's
And
what
see
I-
what other committee might be willing to pay for it.
Especially.
Carlos.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Sorry to go on about that,
Sorry.
but it's something that's been on my mind, and I felt like it really needed to be said.
One of the things I did, so trying to get more and more understanding of how the process would work is I actually brought the purpose and the mission for the Art Commission with me tonight. And one of the things that the Art Commission is commissioned to do is provide recommendations to the mayor and the city council about cultural, artistic endeavors and projects. That's why I would put the mural thing underneath, in which the city can be involved in and act as a representative for the community. I really would encourage you to find a process to come to the city council and either through
Exactly.
Tyler or one of yourselves and say, no problem.
Yeah.
You can't always, expect that our commission's 8,000, whatever that is, to fund all these projects. There may be a way, maybe we can find a way for financing it through urban renewal dollars, or maybe we can find a process through some of the city staff. But I would say, since we've already got a process here that says that one of the things you will do is to recommend to city council some of these things, come up with maybe a possibility of presenting that to the council.
Carl, while you're up
Thank
here,
you.
is there any way that the city council might be able to contact Linda Malone and see if she knows the history of that mural on the senior
sure.
center?
Sure, I see her fairly often.
Okay, because I understand that was like 20 or 30 years ago, which is about when she was in office, because she was in office for
She's one of
12
our
years.
longest
Yeah.
oldest mayors, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I think something like 18 or 19 years, but then she's gotten out of office now. for
yeah,
about
because
7
even one
years.
of the people whose fathers depicted it didn't know who did it or when it was done exactly.
Sure.
If we could find out even when it was done, we might be able to go back in the archives of the papers and find more information.
Yes.
Thank you.
I just think it would behoove us to reach out to the rest of the council, the city, and see about, to spend the correct amount of money and do it right the first time by professionals that deal with this thing on a regular sort of basis, instead of we can do it on the cheap and then it not really being what we anticipated. I just think that that's more important to restore it in its finest detail than to just do it on the cheap.
Is there such thing as a mural restoration company?
That I
Yes,
don't know.
yes, there
but-
is.
So
Yes,
there
there
you go.
is. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of people who restore fine art.
Yeah, that's a little different.
But they do
Murals.
murals,
Mm.
yeah.
I'm sure there's someone that does it. I don't know. I'm not in that.
Well,
Do you
then
wanna
what we
Google
need
it?
is somebody to write up a proposal for the city council on what we see needs to be done,
Just a recommendation,
Mhm.
something on,
okay?
they have a public involvement and opinion, and statement time, just like you do at the beginning of the agreement.
So just come and bring it up verbally.
Otherwise, the person could, give it to the mayor and ask him to put it on the agenda. I'd certainly be supportive of that. I would be willing to take it to him and say, let's put that up, but I think it would be more powerful if it came from the commission.
And, not everyone has the discerning eye that you have in this town for this art, They may not realize the magnitude of which this thing is decaying. So to bring it to their attention as a group could really just bring some focus to it for the city,
Won't the council want to know a cost, or an approximate cost first?
If you had one, sure. If you didn't have one, you could ask that be part of that solution for that. But we are looking at a council meeting coming up on Monday, so opportune time. And again, I'd be willing to push that along, but I think it's more powerful to have somebody in the art commission.
Okay.
Yeah, so the agenda's already set for Monday, May 20th, council meeting. However, if you sent an email to the mayor, we do have changes to the agenda section, just like your commission does, and so we could potentially add a
Or
5 or
public
10 minute
comment.
section or public comment. If you want to have something more formal, you are a commission that's appointed by council, so I don't think it hurts to have a formal slot on the agenda. But again, public comment is just fine as well, and you can address them directly.
What am I saying? Would you be willing to do that? To talk to them, since you have most of the information about the restoration?
Well, I don't have any information on
Yeah,
having
sure.
that mural repainted and.
No, but I mean on the conditions and so
Oh,
forth.
the condition, sure.
And I guess I would make a motion that we recommend that this go to the city as a proposal to hire somebody with expertise to do these restorations, if possible. Is that what I need to do?
I think you just did.
Sure, I second that.
Okay. Who would like to be in charge of that? I mean, Becky, you have the most expertise. You have,
Right.
But she's doing it.
I think you really should have a say and tell them what's going on, so that they know. And maybe they can help us, Maybe we
Yeah.
can get the money through the city.
Okay,
We need to take a vote though on that.
Okay.
Madam, could you go with her?
If she would like, yeah. I mean, she
She's
has.
doing a lot.
I know.
Okay.
But she likes to do it, so. and-
Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, I know.
She does happen to be the most knowledgeable, so I
Yeah,
guess
that's true.
that's the downside of knowing
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
And I
Yes.
work, so, this is hard for me to get here on Wednesdays, unfortunately. But Wednesdays is like, I can set that time aside, so. Would you
I
guys
have-
like to vote
I have no
on that?
idea what I'm doing on Monday,
I'd
but I'll
like a
check.
vote on
Okay, well, if we can't do it, we can make it at even the next one. But I think it needs to come before the city for sure.
I think we need to vote on it so that she
Okay.
has a direction to go.
Okay, would you guys like to vote to have a representative from this commission go before the city and talk about the condition of the murals and maybe some avenues in which we need to pursue fixing and restoring those murals? I will like to vote yes on that, so.
Yes.
Anyone else?
Yes.
We can say
Yes.
no? Okay, the motion carries.
I could provide just one more piece of information.
Yes, please.
Or thought process, I guess. You haven't done a report for council yet, is my understanding.
Correct.
And we are coming up on the close of this fiscal year. And while the commission is still relatively new, it might be worthwhile to push it out from the May 20th meeting and maybe come to the June 3rd meeting or June 17th meeting with more detailed information on what the commission's done as a whole so far, and then, have that dialogue with council so they have maybe a better understanding of what all the work is that has been done and what research has been done.
Is it June 17th?
We have a meeting June 3rd and June 17th.
Okay, June 3rd or
Uh,
17th.
Try to kill two birds with one stone that way. Get the answers that you need, but also meet that general obligation of providing council with an update of what the
Okay.
commission's been doing. Just an idea.
Oh, thank you. Does anyone else have anything to add about the mural restoration project? Okay.
Becky, do you have a clear understanding of what's going on here, what you're going to do or not?
It would be my job to go and describe and take pictures if possible to them and basically tell them if it doesn't get done in the summer, it won't be able to get done.
And you're okay with
Because,
doing this?
yeah,
Okay.
because you have to do it while you have the good weather. And it is very deteriorated.
Okay.
And as the water penetrates that wood, it's just gonna pop the rest of the paint off.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll do that.
thank you very much.
Mhm.
Your time and effort is greatly appreciated. Update art inventory. Is there any new news on anything for the art inventory? Yes.
I have all the pictures shot, and they're cropped and everything sitting on my laptop at home. Zach was going to get back to me with a link to download them to, and he never did. You know, when he left, he probably had a lot of things that he had to
Mhm.
clear up before he left, so I would understand that. So I need to find out from somebody within the city, I assume, on a link and size and you know, where to put them.
Because that will go to the website. Was that the plan? Is that?
The plan was the photographs would go with, I think, your descriptions on a, some type of
We have a
document.
spreadsheet.
Yeah, and I haven't a clue where to put them.
Okay. I don't either, so.
You know, if you want to just send all those to me via email, I assume you can just either attach them or create some sort of zip file and send the photos. We can work on getting whatever documentation needed.
I imagine you have quite a few megabytes. You might even consider putting them on a thumb drive and bringing them
I could put them on a thumb drive.
Okay.
I can bring it to you the next day or two.
Yeah, that's great.
How
At
many
least
are
we'll
there?
have them here at City
Is
Hall at
this
that
lovely
point.
piece on there?
No, a lot more than we discussed, especially in the library.
Okay.
the hanging
Yeah,
glass
the
and
paper
all
mache
that.
stuff and the quilts
Mhm.
and Ray Atkinson's photographs in the one meeting room. At the transit center, there's probably at least a half dozen large photographs and plus the fish in the lobby, which I understand is not wholly with the city, but also part of the watershed or something. I'm not exactly sure
Well,
what.
Yeah, what it is the transit center shares that building with the water people, so
Oh, okay.
that's why the fish is there, I found out.
It's in the packet anyway,
Yeah,
but it's all done and I just need to know where
great,
to put them, so.
good job,
Good job.
yeah.
Shouldn't this be on there?
What?
I know,
Yeah.
I love that.
It's beautiful.
Should be, I guess.
It can be added, that's no problem. This is usually open
Art's
during the
name's
day, I
right
can come
there.
in.
Well, we know
Yeah.
who did it and
Probably
everything.
should. Yeah.
I think it's a great project.
Becky's.
Yes, Becky?
So, I already talked to Tyler about the art inventory because I've been inputting information into a form that Thea from the library initiated, and then it goes to someone somewhere, but Zach didn't leave that information, so he needs to find out how to access the form and the incoming information, which probably went to Zach's email, would be my guess,
Do we have a
so.
link in Google Drives for that? We all got that in our email, right?
I do have a link to the form, but we're not allowed to alter the form, it's a
okay.
read-only. So,
Well, part of that for the photos, it says link to photos, and I'm assuming that the link would go in there. but
Right.
Beyond that, I'm clueless.
So I've entered a lot of of information as I've come across it, and if you have the photos, then it's not one of those urgent things like the projects we're working on, so we'll try to match those things up together, because we know what the names are and you may not.
Okay.
What ultimately are we gonna do with this information? Are we gonna be able to like provide a pamphlet that we can put in the library? Just a moment. Are we going to put it on the website so that it's accessible to the public? You know, I mean, just Kind of curious, just for those of us that may not know, or even Carl, or even the people at home watching in their bathrobes. Becky, would you like to address that?
Okay, so the original idea was that when you apply for grants for something like a walking tour, you need all the information that we're gathering, and it's difficult. It takes time to gather all that information. So we have a database of it. It's a go-to thing. Also, there's a space in there for restoration. We need to have, one of the suggestions I had originally for Zach is that we set up a calendar for the Arts Commission with things like checking the art for restoration, when was it restored last,
Like a maintenance
and what
log or something?
and
yeah.
what material was used, because that makes a huge difference on what you can use on it in the future. So the art inventory is a function for a database for like a walking tour, as I said. People, if we make a nice slide presentation labeling all the things, that might be a thing that you could see on the website, Art in Sandy. There's a lot of uses for the information, and it's better to,
Yeah.
I think, just gather it as we can, so that when we need it, that we'll have it.
Yeah, it would be really nice to have that as walking tours of Sandy
I
and have
agree.
all the artwork under there.
I mean, there's a ton of artwork that I have not seen in this town, and just to have a map or a direction that,
Yeah.
and to, from
Exactly.
even just someone like myself would be great.
Well, and the Historical Society had a grant to do a walking tour type of a thing, and the volunteers were ill and they weren't able to perform that. But it would be nice to have a historical and art.
Sure.
We could combine them.
We can partner with other people to do get grants and do things like that, so that it's a more full experience.
Splendid.
Tyler, before you came, I had mentioned to Zach that over here in the plaza, they have, which made it really easy, they have little plaques on the artwork saying who did the artwork and when it was done and what it is. And I would like that suggestion to be part of the record, that we continue to do that with new art, that there be a plaque put on the art that says who did the art, when it was done. So that if we ever have questions like this, we know who to go to. And it also has on there who commissioned the art or paid for it. Thank you.
Noted. Yep.
Okay, does anyone have anything else to add about the updated art inventory? Okay, let's move on to new business. I don't have any, but you had mentioned something when we were talking about the chalk art. It was another project, and it kind of went over my head, but do you want
Oh.
to talk about that again? And maybe we could just kind
Well,
of...
and maybe this is something we can partner with the chamber with, is that at Christmas, they have always had school children go around and paint the business windows. And it's really, they do a wonderful job, these kids, doing those. And it adds very festive, feeling to the city. And so I'd like to see us have a hand in helping with that in some way, if we could.
Well, I can find out from Chris at the chamber what their process was and how they did it, and make sure they're not planning on it. Because she's not going out of business, she's going to be going around to the businesses all the time.
Right.
But I can talk to her and find
Okay.
out.
And that's something they just do for fun, yeah?
Exactly.
I mean, that's not something they charge the
I
businesses for.
thought they were charging.
Were they charging?
I thought they
I
were
didn't-
last year.
Yeah, I think they did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you know how much?
really?
I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
I think the high school was doing it for money.
Oh,
For the high
well.
school,
Yeah,
where'd the money go to?
maybe 200.
Hopefully the art department.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, my understanding was that it went back into the art department.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I have a limited understanding of that, but I've seen the invoices come into the city.
Okay.
So it sounds like they may already have that under control and don't really need us,
Okay.
but it'd be good to know what's going on.
We could
Yeah,
at
I'll
least
check with them
promote
anyway.
it in some
Mhm.
way,
Yeah.
or advocate it in some
Mhm.
way, so.
Or maybe we can add to it with a project of our own in
Okay.
some form or some kind of other contest maybe. Don't put your Christmas trees down the drains.
Yes.
Garbage disposal.
I will say I was a big hit with the drain class that I did with the kids because I said dog poop. I said to the teacher, can we say poop? Yeah, we can say that.
Today
The
and
kids
today
loved
only.
it.
Only when the artist lady is here. Does anyone have anything else to contribute into new business today? Okay. Did anyone have a chance to look over the minutes to see if there's any amendments from last time?
It looked okay.
Yeah, I didn't see anything out of the ordinary at all. Looked about like it went, so. Anything?
Do we make a motion to approve those?
Okay, would
That's our normal process.
someone like to make a motion to approve those?
To do what?
To approve the minutes from last
Sure,
month?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
We need to vote on it. Let's all vote by,
Aye.
I will abstain
Aye.
because I wasn't there.
okay. But you still had a chance to
Abstain.
read the minutes, right?
I didn't find this till we
Oh,
got
I
in
see, I
here,
see.
so.
Well, that's majority rules, so thank you.
Yeah,
Lou.
no, I'll,
And so it passes. We will approve that. Okay, unless there's anything else to come before the commission, we have one last bit of business, which is to make a motion to adjourn. Who wants to have the honor? Lou was
I so
jumping
move.
right there.
I abstain, so I might as well do something.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone like to second that?
I'll second.
All right, I think, would you guys like to vote on this one? This will be a good
Yes.
one.
Aye.
All right, vote. Meeting adjourned. Thank you guys so much. Good stuff.
Is our sound still on?
It is for just a moment.
Nope.
All that.
No cussing.